Hello again, Warren here with the Peach State Prime Transformers channel. And, I've been doing this series about, kind of reorganizing some of my Transformers display shelves. And this is very much the next entry in that series. If you're not familiar with kind of what sparked all this, is, I tried making some space for what I consider to be my definitive versions of, classic Transformers characters, whether it be Generations releases, dating all the way back to classics, or the more recent Studio Series releases. And I kind of have them divided up, not only by faction, but also by the year that the character was introduced, either in toy or media form, or even retroactively from other Transformers franchises, or, even the comics. Now, today, so I've shown you my 84, 85 Autobots and Decepticons, as well as my 86 and beyond Autobots and Decepticons, along with my G2 inspired decos, Diaclone inspired decos, and GoBots inspired decos. Today is very different, as we're going to actually take a break from my main Transformers room where I am now and film most of my videos. We're actually going to go out into the rest of my basement, and there's a good chunk out there that is what I've come to call my Transformers Annex. And what I have out there, so I don't have your traditional Transformers figures out there. I got stuff out there like my statues, my Funko Pop figures, official Lego sets, Blokees, Yolopark models, and just a whole bunch of stuff like that. So figured I'd show you some of that area, because it's a little different and a bit interesting, and had to make some updates to it as a result of my reorganizing in here. So anyways, hope you'll stick around as we journey to the Transformers Annex. Alright, and this is where my quote-unquote Transformers Annex is. I have a bunch of other stuff you'll see out here. I got some Star Trek stuff, Harry Potter, other pop figures, including Pokemon, Ninja Turtles, Sour Patch Kids, all sorts of fun stuff like that. But we're going to focus on kind of these center shelves, which is primarily where I have some of my other, non-traditional Transformers merchandise. So we'll just start at the top here. So this is a section of Transformers statues. Most of these are the Hard Hero releases. So you got this Rhinox, which they were supposed to do a whole series of Beast Wars statues. Rhinox was the only one that came out. I got the trio of the Insecticons here. Of course, there's Unicron in the background, which I've done a video featuring him already, as well as this Ultra Magnus statue. This was done, I believe, who put this one out? I covered it in the video. Puzzle Productions. Love that one. Over here, I know I probably need to get rid of these eventually, but at a craft show, this is actually soap that's wrapped up in plastic wrap. Had it for years, just sat it on the shelf. Never used it. Those are actually just like party rings, like plastic rings that are in there, but I thought it was cool. And then we have some of the, I believe these are the Palisades statues. Let's see. Yep, Palisades. So these were a bunch. They had bigger versions of these. I got the smaller ones with Grimlock, Starscream, Bumblebee, RC, and the Paradron Medic variant. Soundwave, and that laser beak on him was actually sold separately as an accessory. You got the repaint of Optimus as Ultra Magnus, which was really pop, as was the style at the time. You got War Within Optimus, and I believe that was supposed to be, again, another series that never got completed. But of course it is a bit bigger than these other releases. Down here, you got the some more Hard Hero, as well as the Matrix statue in the middle. This, of course, I featured on my review of the Studio Series Matrix that just came out. You got those huge Optimus and Megatron statues, again, from Hard Hero back there, as well as this Bumblebee and this Ravage. And then on either side, I got these bobbleheads. These are actually head knockers that came out from NECA several years ago. And this expression on Megatron's face always gets me. Then we're into the Hard Hero bus. You know, this is the one that started it all with Hard Hero, and I need to take like a toothbrush to this to really dust it better. My traditional methods can't really get in those grooves too well. My Starscream, this is years and years ago. I got a little chip in it, unfortunately. But I always thought these looked really cool. And these were one of the first truly, like, cartoon-accurate pieces of merchandise that was out there. Of course, I got the big Devastator one. And this is the Stealth Cyclonus, which, again, I featured in a separate video. Now, down here on the bottom shelf are 3 plates from BotCon. You got BotCon 2001 in the middle, celebrating Transformers the movie. And then on either side, you got War Within, Autobots, and Decepticons, both for BotCon 2003. Now, these were very, very controversial because the release was delayed by the organizers at the time, which I believe was 3H, or a iteration of 3H Enterprises, and during the original run of BotCon. And they were very much delayed even into the following BotCon. So, you know, you can read more about that, I'm sure, in places. But one of the most controversial things that ever really happened with BotCon during its original run. Alright, now I got a little bit of everything at the top of these shelves here, so I'll do my best to point it out. We'll start at the tippy top. I do have 2 of the Super 7, I believe these are what, called Ultimates. I do have the slip covers in my other room, but I have Bonsaitron and the Ghost Starscream. I was going to take them out of their boxes, but they just look so good in the boxes that I left them. Kind of going back over here. That is the G1 Optimus Prime Micro Machines base that came out a few years ago. Just think it looks great as just a classic Optimus truck. Then I got some of the melts that were put out by Culturefly. I got the Optimus Prime, Soundwave, Megatron, RC, and Bumblebee. And then behind there, I got that one of those plushes. I forget who put them out, but they're like half circuitry, half robot, traditional Transformer robot plushies. That's Megatron. And again, I just kind of have all this mixed in. I thought it was kind of fun. And then we do have, of course, some of the pop figures up top here. I have my Jumbo Optimus Prime, Unicron, and Soundwave, and then the larger Omega Supreme back here, which, you know, a lot of people don't realize it because of how the face is in there, but that's based on the Encore release that Takara Tomy put out, rather than the original Hasbro toy, which I always thought was kind of cool and unique of them. Down here with Soundwave, I do have other iterations of Soundwave, from your classic to what they call the Siege version with the battle damage. I believe that was a GameStop exclusive. Then we have the one, the Biddy Pop, where this opens up and there's a little Rumble inside. He was sold as Rumble as a retro toy. It's red. I'm not going to get into that argument. This one I thought was really cool, and a lot of people kind of missed this one. This one was sold in this case, and it's actually for the crossover with Magic the Gathering. So I like that one. I've only seen it online. Never seen another one actually in person. Going back over here, I have my Optimus Prime Rubber Ducky, which I've done a video on, as well as my Jada G1 Optimus Prime. And you'll see some other little figures mixed in there. Forgot to call out Laserbeak, and of course the tapes that go with the Jumbo Soundwave. But you'll see like little keychains and stuff here and there as well. But moving on down, got some of the other Funko Pop figures. These are some of the earlier ones that came out. I do have all of the Funko Pops for Transformers, with the exception of the Chase version of this Laserbeak that was Buzzsaw, as well as the NFT releases. I personally don't believe in NFT releases or NFT in general. I'm glad it seems to be going away, but I'm just not a fan and not going to go there. But anyways, one thing I always thought was cool was this was the Target exclusive version of Bumblebee. It came out in the first wave of these. And he is actually based on the Classics toy versus the G1, which we have here. So, that was kind of a rarity. And then we go down here. You know, you got some of the second run, including the, this is the exclusive Optimus and Megatron with their Energon weapons. They actually were, sold in a metal lunchbox separately with a G.I. Joe exclusive figure at GameStop and ThinkGeek. But I was fortunate and was able to actually get both of these individually. Then I have, of course, the Rodimus and Galvatron set, again from GameStop. This is my Talking Optimus Prime. You can see it light up a little bit. I need to put new batteries in him. He does have Peter Cullen's voice. Then you got the Rise of the Beast Pops here, which, you know, I thought were pretty cool when they came out, and I still think they're pretty cool. And then you have the Easter Bunny, Cyclonus here. And then you got the Bitty Pops, or more of the Bitty Pops, and I have all of those except for Soundwave. Who again was one of the blind packed ones, and then there's Rumble's little box that's inside the Soundwave up there. So again, it was sold as Rumble. These are the second release of Optimus and Megatron, including the metallic versions and the matte versions, Astro Train and Blaster. And then moving down, taking a break from the Pops for a minute, I have all these brick minifigures. And these are Kreo. If you remember Kreo, it was Hasbro's answer to Lego for a while. And they had all these figures came with bigger, you know, kits you could build, or as blind bags. And thankfully they had codes on them so you could tell who you were getting. Then they did do the Combiner box sets as well. So I like these. They are hanging off my shelf a little bit. I need to get a support under there. You know, Kreo was one of those things, again, it was pretty well received, at least for Transformers, but I don't think it was sustainable enough, which did lead them to go with a deal with Lego proper. Now, they really haven't done minifigures or play sets, which I'd love to see one day. I do have the Optimus and Bumblebee, which I built and are up here. You know, I would like to get the Soundwave one day. I haven't yet. Or the Brickheads. I just haven't really dove into Brickheads. I figure if I want that look, I have Funko Pops. But those are my two Lego, you know, bigger sets. And they do transform if you're not aware, without having to take them completely apart. And as a bonus, this is not an official Lego set, but I do have a Johnny 5 here that I got off of Amazon, which is cool. Got a few more Pops here. These are the Beast Wars ones that came out maybe about a year or so ago. Of course, Optimus Primal, Rhinox, Megatron, and Black Arachnia. I hope they end up doing more, because I'd like a full set at least of the first season full cast. You know, maybe get a Rat Trap, a Cheetor, Definitely need a Waspinator in there, and of course all the others. This is a mini bust of Optimus Prime. It came in the box that's behind it along with a little book. Again, I need to replace the batteries in this thing. But this is very much, like one of those little impulse items you find at a bookstore like Barnes & Noble near the checkout. And then there's this Optimus Prime snow globe from the first movie that my wife got me as a gift, which is pretty, I keep saying everything's cool because it is. I like it a lot. And laying down here, and probably a little dusty, is something I love here. This was a little giveaway. You can see it's kind of translucent. It's not an actual cell from the film, but this was something that the Musicland Corporation, you can see Suncoast and Media Play on there, when Transformers the movie was first re-released by Kid Rhino on home video. And I believe it was more the VHS release versus the DVD, but if I'm wrong on that, leave a comment in the comments. But it does say the year 2000 on it, so I do think it was that VHS release right before the DVD was put out, because there was a slight gap between those two releases. Down here, we start getting into Blokees territory. So, I love Blokees. I want to have more than I have, but limited space. So these are the action editions in the back that I have. Of course, Optimus, Megatron, and Soundwave. I think you get a lot for your money. $40, you get these huge sets. And then, of course, I got some of the blind box and, including some of the Defender series here, Galaxy class, the light up ones. And this Soundwave does talk, but I'm going to end up knocking everything over. But he did come with, all the cassettes and everything. And then way back, kind of hidden back there, my kids made me some 3D printed faction symbols. Then down here, you got a few more Blokees, as well as some of the Yolopark, or actually, no, these are all Blokees still. And, you got some of the more, this is that, I forget the name of it, but the non-blind box, kind of medium size. And I just think they really knocked it out of the park for Transformers 1, as well as Rise of the Beast. I got my Unicron head there. I've shown that on several videos. Then you got some more blind box ones, one of the vehicle ones, which again, I've shown on a video before. Then down here is when you start getting into Yolopark. These are the die-cast ones that they put out. I know they have plastic versions of those bigger releases as well. Then I got all of the regular size ones, or again, the AMK minis, that's what it is. And I even got the BotCon one, which again I featured on a video. I'm just missing Soundwave again. I even got the clear Hound that I got. My wife actually bought me a whole case of the second wave. So again, just trying to find that Soundwave. And of course, there's my opaque Unicron head and the Blokees Arc, which again have been featured before. Down here, I have my Grimlock popcorn bucket from Universal, as well as my Jumbo Rise of the Beast Bumblebee pop figure. And then as a bonus, there's my Lego Game Boy right there. And again, featured some of these on separate videos before. And then up here, last but not least, right above Pokemon, is the latest wave of Transformers pop figures with Springer, Cup, Nemesis Prime, Skywarp, and the Chase Thundercracker, which I did a separate video on all 5 of these. And then over here, I got something interesting. So these were more of a craft item that were sold at a a BotCon several years ago. They're these, you know, kind of etched Transformers glasses. They've ended up all sorts of different places, including in use. Right now, they're just on my shelf, and just one of those neat things I've picked up over the years. Alright, so that is, again, what I call my Transformers Annex. I have a few other things out here in the basement, you know, but I'll just show you that at another time. But again, a lot of stuff was added out here, like the statues and all that, and the Kreo figures, so that I could have more room in my main Transformers room. So the display was very much refreshed out here as well, and ever expanding, ever growing. Anyways, so not a whole bunch of, you know, unique methods of use, like any 3D print ads or anything like I have in my main room, except for, you know, maybe kind of how I've stacked stuff up behind me. And again, just trying to make it a fun display, you know, because again, this is kind of my main basement area, where, you know, a lot of people may not even venture into the other room. Anyways, hope you enjoyed watching this video and seeing some of these other Transformers collectibles. If you did like it, please give it a like here on YouTube. And of course, leave a comment. You know, what kind of non-traditional Transformers merchandise do you collect, if anything? I know some people just like, you know, the saying, if it doesn't transform, it's not a Transformer. That kind of holds true, but I also like celebrating the characters beyond the actual toys. So, you know, to me, it's a little bit different of a method of collecting. And, of course, subscribe to the Peach State Prime Transformers channel for more videos like this, toy reviews, news and reveal discussions, and a whole lot more fun stuff. If you like to visit peachstateprime.com, you can learn more about me and my YouTube projects. Outside of that, again, I really want to thank you for watching this video. Hope you have a great day, and God bless.